Howdy folks, it's Tall Turtle here and welcome back to another texture pack update. If you haven't seen the previous texture pack update videos, please start with those because we're just going to jump right into some new things right now. Alright, we're on the ground. I'm going to show you new things. I don't want to spoil everything at once. You can see on the top of your screen there a few new things. Again, just a reminder, anti-aliasing is terrible with these high-res texture packs because there's no Optifine for 1.16 yet. Just reminding you because I have a lot of people who have discovered me in my texture packs. Right, texture pack and the Redcraft conversion. So I just want to make that clear one more time. The anti-aliasing is terrible because Optifine 1.16 is not out and we're dealing with high resolution texture packs. With that out of the way, what do we have that's new? A bunch of Overworld stuff, a bunch of Nether stuff. However, I have to split up the videos because I have so much stuff to show you. I can't do it in one video. First thing I wanted to show you that Mycelium, which we did in a previous texture pack. This is mine. Just to be clear, this is my Mycelium. 1.16 changed orientation. So it used to be that it was all in a stripe, right? Like you'd have the striping effect. And I was going to actually fix that. But now they randomize the orientation, which is great because now it just looks like bumps. Have you ever been to some of those, gosh, where would it be? I can't remember what kind of train it would be on. But in real life, you're walking along and you have like these soft, rather large bumps or humps. That's what this looks like now. So it's humpy, I guess, instead of bumpy. But anyway, I like the random orientation, so I'm not going to change this texture at all. It looks great now. It doesn't have that pattern stripy look that I was upset about before, that I never actually vocalized. But because it's randomized, it looks beautiful. So I'm just going to get rid of this here. I'm going to talk about that wood to my right, which is also a redo. It's not something new. In my original add-on texture pack, I had striped wood that looked okay. And, oh my gosh, I have other software running in the background I forgot to turn off, so my computer's lagging. That's okay. I had other striped wood, stripped wood, not striped, stripped wood. When you strip the bark off wood, they used to be really smooth, but I had this terrible thing where it would be light here and dark there. And it always bothered me, and now that I'm getting better with this whole texture pack thing, I decided to redo my stripped wood. So it's a little more aggressive. If you strip the bark off wood, this is literally what you get, because that's what I did to get this picture. So this is stripped wood, all 6 variants. There you go. I will be doing something similar for the crimson and warped wood, quasi woods, but we'll talk about that later. That's another stuff. And here you go. So what are we getting at that's so much better about this? The coloring or the shading is even, and the grains almost line up, but not quite. If it lined up perfectly, it would look like wallpaper, but they don't quite line up. And basically the shading is straight all the way across. It's still a real photo though. And it has all 6 types of wood. And then the end, that's what you see on top. So if you take one of these guys and you place it down, you get this. If you place it like that, you get the end. See how it looks like a block of wood now? Right? That's because it is a real block of wood to get these photos. So I wanted to show you that because that, like I said, is a redo from a previous version of my texture pack. I'm going to get rid of this and get the next stuff set up in my hotbar and we'll keep going. Alright, the next major thing I'm excited about is not these things. This is from the previous video, but I'm so excited about those I kept them. Beehives and bee nests. So let's start with the nest first, I guess. Let's place one down here. And let's place one a few blocks above so you can look underneath it. And I messed that up. There we go. So bee's nest. Here is the empty version. Here's the full honey version. So again, real materials in real life. Now I know these are very clean because in real life, bees nests are very clean. And they have a hole on the bottom in real life, not on the sides. But that's here because Minecraft had it. And I put a hole on the top just because. I know the Minecraft texture has honey smeared all over it, but if you look at a real bee's nest, they're very, very clean. Hey, buddy. Hey, you like your tattoo? So that's what he did that for. Has some shape to it. Has some circular shape to it, even though we're looking at a block. Have entry and exit, although in real life it would just be that one. But so it's recognizable. We kept it like this, like the default. And kind of circular on top, as best as you can do with circles in a square environment. When it's full of honey, it's like this, and it drips. Oozes all through the seams. I did not ooze it on all 4 sides. I thought about having it ooze everywhere, but that might be too much of a good thing. I know imagining it oozing things like a good idea, but when I tried it, no, it was a mess. So we're just oozing on the front, and there you go, someone came out. All right, so that's the bee's nest. The beehive, let's get a beehive down here. There we go, we'll go on top so you can look under it. Beehive, very unassuming box, because beehives in real life are unassuming boxes. But again, real photos of real materials. Kind of an entry exit, although you wouldn't have an entry exit on a beehive. You would have it a top like this that comes off. So the top is made from a totally different material, because that's how the default texture was. And it's just wood that's bound. And we're using similar things from other textures that I've done to tie them together. Underneath, nice and smooth. So there is your beehive. All right, here it is full, dripping from honey. Again, oozing out the seams in the front. Not everywhere, because that's too much of a good thing. Although it does drip from everywhere, just like this one does, see? So there you go, beehive and bee nest. All right, so now we have some overworld items to go through that I've updated and changed, even though I thought they were done, but I decided to do some updates. So in my hand, you see I'm holding a campfire. I originally intentionally left the original pixelated flame just to have a tie into the default textures, but it looked like a mistake. And it looked like I'd forgotten to do it, even though I didn't. So I went ahead and updated the campfire flame in the hand. Now, on the ground, it's always been that way. But in the hand, see how it's updated? Same thing with the soul campfire. It has the soft, glowy flames, not the aggressive fire flames. So the items in the hand, for those have been updated. I also updated the Totem of Undying. Yes, it's a knitted or crocheted doll. My wife and I were purging things for our big move, and I found this. This is something my mother made for me. So this thing is over 40 years old. I'm like, my potato man totem looked terrible, so we're going to have like a voodoo doll thing. So this is like the voodoo doll thing for Totem of Undying. I like it. I know it just means something to me, nobody else, but at least it's something that isn't Potato Man. Moving on, turtle egg. Now, I wanted the turtle egg to be totally different, because all the eggs in the game are spawn eggs, right? You spawn things with them, but the turtle egg is different. The turtle egg you can actually put on the ground to raise animals. I wanted it to be different, so I took a real egg, did some coloring to it, and there's our turtle egg. And now we move on to music discs, which you can see in my hotbar, as well as my hands. And then I'm just going to throw them out here instead of put them on item frames. And as you can see, they are photorealistic because they're photoreal, and I did the best I could. Oh my gosh, my mouse is... I still have to change the battery in my mouse. I keep forgetting. the disc that I chose, the records that I chose... I try to get the labels to pretty much match what the default was. So if you have your records memorized, you should be able to see these and see what they're supposed to be. In fact, you can probably look at them and tell what they are in real life if you are an audiophile from the 70s, because that's when all these were. These are all from the 70s. These are from my childhood. So there you go. We have a bunch more too. Like this one, which if you look at that apple, do you know what that is? I bet some of you do. Here's a broken record. Like literally a broken record that I found, and I took a picture of it. Literally, that in real life, that was a broken record I found in my pile. This one, and then the pig one, the pig step one. Again, that's a real record. I knew I had one that was red, and I found it. So there you go. That is super awesome, super fun. A couple more things though, and then we will be done. All right, the Enderchest. I spent so much time trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this, because I wanted it to be similar to the other toolboxes, such as the regular chest, the double chest, the tables, crafting tables, those other tables like smithing tables, all those things, the new ones. So not crafting table, but the new ones. And I see a mistake in my texture I need to fix. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but I see it. I need to fix it right away. Anyway, so I did like 10 different versions of this thing. I finally settled on this one. I'm quite happy with it. It's slightly, I want to say less purple than the default, but then if you look at the default, it's not actually purple. It's like blue grayish. So I think this is closer in line with what it would be colored anyway. So real materials, that's a real eyeball. That's why it doesn't look perfectly perfect, because it's real, and real eyeballs are not perfectly perfect. So, well, that particular eyeball, I'm not going to tell you where it's from, but you can probably guess. And we got the latch, and the inside, which is just black, like a black hole. The top is like a material, but the bottom is a black hole. See the difference here if you look super fast? And I'm really happy with, again, binding to get hold the themes together, and then the bottom, very, very meticulously detailed. Again, I see a few mistakes. They're not really mistakes, they're just improvements, which I'm not going to tell you because you probably don't even see them. But note to self, look at that, you know where they are. Alrighty, moving along, then I wanted to tie it together with the crying obsidian, which then also means I changed the obsidian. So Red Craft had their own obsidian, but with the crying obsidian, which I had to make myself, and the new Enderchest, my new Enderchest, I needed to tie it in. So I started with this, and then decided to make crying obsidian out of it, which I wish I could tell you what some of these textures came from, but then it would ruin the effect. But anyway, so I made the crying obsidian. I was very careful to connect edges, see how they connect. They don't all connect because they can't all connect, but most of them do. So I'm very happy about that. And it blends in with the obsidian, which I now made new myself, which is less purple than Red Craft was. However, this actually looks like real obsidian. If you look up what real obsidian looks like, this looks like a bunch of obsidian put together rather than stones. So I'm happy with it. Let's see it in like a portal configuration. How do you build blocks with a mouse that has a dying battery? You get the idea here. There. So there you go. Even though it's sunken in the ground. Let's replace it. There you go. I get the idea. So it looks awesome. It's kind of going to take a little bit for me to get used to because I've been looking at the other obsidian for years and years and years. But I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I was forced to think about that so that it all ties together. So that means the only thing that doesn't tie in now is the enchanting table, because I'm still using Red Craft's enchanting table. So I might make changes to that, but that would be like the last thing on my list. Alrighty, so that takes care of our blocks that I've done. Well, I actually have done like 25 more, but I'm not going to show you because that's going to be a different video. That's going to be when I do the nether stuff. So I'm finishing up the nether blocks right now. I'm extremely pleased with how they're churning out. It will change the theme a little bit, and that is less gooey and gory, but it's still going to be awesome, I promise. So I'm going to finish those nether blocks. And there's I've done like 20. I've got like 75 left because of all the woods and things. Well, it looks like the wood, but it's not really wood. You know, I'm talking about the crimson stuff and warp stuff. I'm going to finish that, and then the next texture pack update video will be in the nether. I will meet you there.